Hello friends. Since the 1.21 update, I've been asked about adding autocrafting to my gold farm storages. I've come up with some designs and want to share them with you here. For the cascading 2-portal storage, we can start with a crafter block right under the center facing down, and hoppers taking gold nuggets into it from each side. Then that's going to point into a dropper which will fire the ingots that are crafted forward into another crafter. But then we also want to bring ingots from the ingot filters into that dropper. So I've got a hopper into another dropper on the side, on one side, and then on the other side, since we need to go a little farther, we need to snake some hoppers around the back like this. And now this will send ingots forward. We're going to send those into another hopper from the side, which then will put them down into another crafter to make the gold blocks. Around the back, we're going to put observers, and you need an observer pointing down and then an observer watching that observer pointing back into the dropper that's under the crafter. That observer is going to power all 3 droppers as well as the top crafter. Then I've got the comparator on top of the observers, which the observers will detect whenever it gets activated by the crafter being full. For the bottom crafter, I want to put a little platform and then a comparator reading the crafter, pointing into a solid block, and beside that then dust and a repeater to take a signal back to that the solid block next to the crafter from the side. And this bottom comparator needs to be in subtract mode. From here, build the platform out and place 3 glass blocks off of the observer, make a little stair step like I'm doing here. Then we need a comparator on the back glass block and a furnace. Now this furnace is going to give us a signal strength 9. To do that, we're actually going to put a wooden shovel in the fuel slot and then 46 of any item in the ingredient slot. Comparator reads that and points into a solid block, which then has dust next to it to keep the upper comparator off until it reaches signal strength 9 with a full crafter. Then 2 dust will go down to the bottom to a comparator at the bottom, which carries a signal over to the bottom comparator that's on subtract mode. So that dust is actually at signal strength 8, and that's why the bottom comparator needs to be on subtract mode. Now running the farm, I'm going to go ahead and switch to my looting 3 sword to get the full drops out of this, and we'll take a look at the action. So in the auto crafter at the top, the ingots are being made into nuggets, and those nuggets are being sent down to the crafter at the bottom. In just a sec, we should get our first gold block. There we go. For the 2-portal chest boat based storage, we're going to start by removing all but the top chest for the nuggets. And then under that, we're going to bring hoppers down into a crafter for the nuggets to make ingots. So you can see I've got, since there's 2 filters going into this chest, I need 2 hoppers pulling down from it to handle the load. And they're both pointing in now into the crafter. And now I'm taking out the droppers that lifted nuggets from the sword smelting of this storage and make those go straight toward the back of the crafter as well. This crafter is also going to eject into a dropper, which then will go up to another dropper to the left into another crafter for the ingots to gold blocks. With this hopper and dropper layout, we can then make a little platform off the side of our nugget crafter to set up the wiring. And this is going to be similar to the cascading storage, where we've got a comparator reading the crafter. When that comparator lights up, when the crafter is full with each slot, it's going to power dust next to the block to a repeater that's going to power that dropper, which will also activate the dropper above and the crafter. Now then, in this furnace, we want again a shovel and 46 drip leaves, and then that is going to keep the comparator shut off until the crafter is full. And we can take out these extra block and torch there that were previously bringing nuggets up into the storage. To craft the gold blocks from ingots, we want to make wiring off to the left side here. And I'm going to have a comparator read the crafter and then power dust and a repeater below to activate this one. Now then, this comparator also needs to be shut off until it reaches signal strength 9, so I've got some space here next to the rotten flesh chests. I can put in the comparator and then another furnace on this side. All right, so with 46 drip leaves in there, it's got signal strength 9, and now we can see how this one's going to work. Looting 3 sword. So all of the nuggets from the pigmen and from the sword smelting are going to come into this first crafter. It crafts ingots and sends them up to the second crafter. And oh, I need to bring in the ingots that drop directly as well. Forgot to add that on. So I'm going to do that with just a couple of hoppers and a barrel, fitting right into how the storage was already built. Just bring the ingots over to the side into that crafter. And now you can see if I have ingots coming through there, this will be crafting our gold blocks. Now, if you want to access the rotten flesh chest behind there, you can use a chain instead of a solid block for that comparator, and then you can reach through to access the chest if you like. Just checking again, everything is moving through the system and working. With the 4-portal chestboat based storage, we again need only a single crafter for nuggets and a single crafter for ingots. And we want to put those in at the same level that the smelted swords nuggets would be coming in. So I've taken out the chest here from the world download and put in a dropper on one side, center, and a crafter next to that. Crafter going toward the middle into another dropper that goes back into a crafter that points down. So now we have all of the nuggets from both the smelting and the direct filtering will go into the first dropper and crafter, and the ingots are going to go directly into the second dropper and crafter. On the outside, we're going to make a platform in order to set up an auto dropper circuit for the dropper and crafter that are handling nuggets. Now this is going to be a 4 game tick clock auto dropper, so we have comparator into a repeater into another comparator, the second comparator being on subtract mode, and then we need a repeater pointing into the crafter to hard power that, and that's going to send the nuggets through the dropper and also activate the crafter. And we can watch this now running. This will send ingots into the front dropper and from there into the ingot crafter. Now we'll power the ingot crafter similarly to how I powered the gold block crafter in the chestboat storage, where I have comparator reading the crafter and then the signal coming in to activate it underneath. And you see in this case I've put a comparator there because we're actually going to subtract the signal strength of 9 from that bottom comparator instead of the top one because the hoppers from the sword smelting input or output are in the way. So I've got a third comparator here, which is going to be reading the furnace. And again, we need 46 of any item in the top of the furnace and a wooden shovel in the bottom. All right, let's go up and turn this on, see how it runs. We've got pigmen coming into the trident killer. And we should have gold coming through. So we've got gold coming into the dropper, lots of gold coming into the crafter. It's coming from 4 filters as well as the smelting. And then we've got ingots coming in here from the nugget to ingot crafter as well as the 2 ingot filters. And we are making gold blocks. So I hope you find these Autocrafters helpful. If you have built the storage, you can integrate them very easily and have a nice compact storage system for all of your gold.